Hello, LP Brown artists. This week we get to learn about a very famous artist from Mexico. Her name is Frida Kahlo. She was born in 1907 and is most well known for her self portraits. If you look at the screen, you can see this self portrait here has some animals sitting on her shoulders. And I want you to make a prediction if these are animals in her imagination or animals that she lives with, or just maybe animals in her neighborhood. In the middle, you can see a photograph of her. She's known for her distinct eyebrows, her defined eyebrows. And then another self-portrait with birds sitting on her shoulders and holding a bird. So again, make that prediction. Where did these animals come from and why are they in so many of her self-portraits? She lived a very interesting life. She went through about 35 surgeries due to an illness and an accident. So today I'm going to start by reading a book about her life, and then we'll move on to our art project.
Frida Kahlo and Her Animalitos by Monica Brown, illustrated by John Para. This is a story of a little girl named Frida who grew up to be one of the most famous painters of all time. Frida was special. This is also the story of two monkeys, a parrot, three dogs, two turkeys, an eagle, a black cat, and a fawn. They were Frida's pets, and they were special too. Frida had a parrot named Bonito. Like her parrot, Frida was colorful. She liked to wear bold shades that celebrated indigenous Mexico and her own heritage. She lived in a house the color of a parrot's bright blue feather, La Casa Azul, where she grew up with her mom, dad, and sisters. Frida had a pet fawn named Granizo. Like her fawn, Frida had watchful, beautiful eyes. When Frida closed her eyes, she remembered her life as a little girl. Frida was always with her father, a photographer who taught her to look at the world through curious eyes. Frida and her father would walk to the park to collect bugs to look at under a microscope. Frida's father also taught her how to paint finishing touches on his photographs. Frida loved the small brushes and beautiful colors. Frida had a cat with black, shiny fur, the same color as her long, dark hair. Like a cat, Frida was playful. But as a child, Frida couldn't always play. When Frida was six, she got very sick. That was hard to say. She was in bed for a long time, but little Frida didn't get sad or bored. Instead, she used her breath to make mist on her window, and she drew a door with her finger. Frida used her big imagination and curious eyes to walk out the door with a magic friend, a little girl who danced and played like a kitten. Frida was independent like a cat. Frida's sickness left one of her legs different from the other, and children made fun of her. But this didn't stop Frida from skating and riding bikes and rowing on the lakes of Chapultepec Park so that her leg could get stronger. Frida was not afraid to do things other girls didn't usually do. She wore overalls and boxed and wrestled. Frida had two spider monkeys, Fulang Chang and Caimito de Guayabal. Like her monkeys, Frida could be mischievous even when she was a teenager. When Frida was 15, she went to a school called the Preparatoria and found a group of friends she loved. Like Frida, her friends were curious to learn all they could. Together, they read and studied and argued and sometimes got into trouble. Wearing matching caps, they rode donkeys through halls of the Preparatoria and set off firecrackers. Uh-oh. Frida had an eagle named Gertrudis. Like her eagle, Frida's imagination could fly high. When Frida was 18, she was in a terrible accident, and once again, she had to be in bed for many months. This time, Frida didn't create a magic friend. She created art. Frida's mother made her a special easel and hung a mirror over her canopy bed so Frida could paint. Frida used her imagination and curious eyes to do just that. Feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly? And if those weren't enough pets, Frida had 2 turkeys and 3 dogs, Senor Zoloto, Senorita Capulina, and Senora Costi. Frida's turkeys were intelligent and sensitive just like herself, and like Frida, her dogs were warm and loving. When she was lonely or sad, she would wrap her arms around them and they would comfort her. Her Zolo dogs were the same breed that ran and hunted with the Aztecs thousands of years ago, and a reflection of Frida's heritage, of which she was very proud. Frida's dogs had no hair, but their bodies were warm and Frida gave them great big hugs whenever she felt lonely or sad. Frida's animalitos were spirited and entertaining, just like Frida. When her 2 spider monkeys were being good, Frida would hold them like babies. When they were being mischievous, they would steal socks and fruit and leap through windows so no one could catch them. Her parrot, named Bonito, liked to snuggle under the covers while Frida took naps and would do tricks at the dinner table for pats of butter. Frida's animalitos played all day in the courtyard at La Casa Azul, the bright blue house on Londres Street. Her husband, Diego Rivera, even made the animals a pyramid to climb on so that her pets could roam freely. When Frida painted, her pets would keep her company, and Frida painted all the time. While the birds sang, the dogs barked, and the turkeys danced in the garden. Frida's animals were her children, her friends, and her inspiration. Frida painted when she was sick and hurting. She painted when she was happy. She also painted when Diego was gone and she was sad. But Frida was never really alone at La Casa Azul, the bright blue house on Londres Street. She had her animalitos and herself, and she painted both. Frida painted herself with Fulang Chang, playing with ribbons. She painted herself with Bonito, the parrot, and Senor Zoloto, the dog. She painted her black cat, too, peeking over her shoulder. Frida painted herself with all the pets she loved so much, and even butterflies and caterpillars. Her paintings were magic. And today, if you visit La Casa Azul in Coyoacan, I think I said that right, Coyoacan, just outside of Mexico City, you might hear the sound of a bird or see a black cat jump from the pyramid that sits in the courtyard of the bright blue house on Londres Street, where Frida and her animalitos lived so many years ago. And then here is a picture of Frida. This is Frida with her monkey outside of her home on Londres Street. Today we are going to draw a portrait of Frida Kahlo. You're going to need a piece of paper, pencil, and a drawing supply of your choice, whether it's colored pencils, crayons, or markers. And another option you have is you can look up pictures of her to help guide your drawing. And if you want to include some of her animals in the picture, that would be great too. So pause the video, collect your supplies, and I'll meet you back here. Here we have our piece of paper and pencil. We're going to start by folding our paper in half one way, and then fold your paper again the other way. Open it up, and you'll see you have quadrants. You have 4 rectangles. This is going to help guide our drawing. The first thing you'll do is draw the head shape centered around this middle point here. So an oval around the middle. Now, if you actually look at your face, you'll see the eyes are right in the middle of your face. And it'll look funny when you first draw it because it'll look like you're an alien, but it makes more sense once you add your hair. So here's my middle point. On one side, I'm gonna lightly draw a circle, and on the other side, lightly draw another circle. And these are the eye sockets where your eyes are, your eyeballs are in. Next, the eyelids go like this over. And then another eyelid. Draw another line to show the top of your eyelid. Next, drawing the iris here. The pupil. We'll color it in more later, but I'll shade it in so you can see. Again, you draw the eyeball, the iris, and the pupil, shade it in. And then you erase these lines around it, the circle. Now you can add some eyelashes. Next, we have her signature eyebrows. They're very large, defined eyebrows that connect in the middle. So, kind of V down. And there's her eyebrows. Next, the nose. We're just going to take a simple approach for the nose. It curves around. Down here we have her mouth. And now what really shows that it's Frida Kahlo is her hair. So next to her eyes, we'll do her ears. Gotta have ears. And then her hair, she had her signature middle part. And she always had her hair up in kind of the buns here. Looking like Princess Leia right now. Next, the flowers. You can draw whatever flowers you want. I'm gonna draw these simple kind of wavy flowers. But you can draw any kind of flowers that you want. After this, you could even make your own flower crown if you want, out of tissue paper or real flowers, fake flowers. And now I need the neck. You can do whatever collar or shirt that you want. Next, I'm going to outline everything in my dark Sharpie color, or you can use crayon, pen, whatever you have handy. And here is the outline of my Frida. She's gonna look even more like Frida Kahlo once I add some colors. You'll notice it's not perfect. I always have a hard time making the eyes even, but not all eyes are symmetrical. Most eyes aren't. As I was going over it with the Sharpie, I was going, I don't want these lines to show, so I'll erase those. I decided to add less flowers, so I made some changes, and I'll take my eraser and go through. Next, I get to add some color. Today I'm going to use colored pencil for that. So pause your video, add some color, and you can watch me add color in the time lapse. And here is my finished product. I added leaves in the background, but you can choose to add anything you want. You could choose to add a monkey on her shoulder, try to draw some things that you might see where she lived, like her bird. She could be with a background with her paintings, anything you would like to do. I'd love to see your art, so if you can, take a picture and you can send it to me on Schoology or school email. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you do a little more research about Frida. She's a very interesting artist. Thank you.